Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you are all doing all right. Today, we are going to be coding a code editor, or continuing at least. I've already started, but we're going to be continuing along with this. This is it so far. As you can see, there's already some problems with it. When I started shift selecting there, it selected the wrong portion. So this is IamGUI, and you may know IamGUI already has text editors, right? If I go in here and I start clicking around and stuff, we can just do this. But I am coding this one completely from scratch. I'm not using IamGUI. And the reason is a couple. So the first one is we're going to have to add lots of extra things, right? So if you look at a normal code editor like this, you can see like we get a little box around where the line we're on is highlighted. If I click this, you can see, or let's do this one. You can see all these ones get highlighted. If I start typing and I say like panel dot, you can see I get IntelliSense. So there's just a lot of extra things that I'll need. And I could probably use IamGUI for most of these. Also with the line numbers and stuff, right? We could add breakpoints, take them away, all that stuff. So there's a lot that I could do, but I think I have wanted to just code it by myself, which is one of the reasons. I've never coded a text editor, so it seemed like a good challenge. So yeah, that's what we're going to work on today. Anyways, so what I have so far, as you can see, is we can click on an object over here. It opens it up over here. If I add a script, you can see it opens it up here. This is something we got to fix too. You can see over here, these are some stats about like what's actually happening. For some reason, our character buffer is messed up because it says that we're selecting way outside the range of what should be possible. Another thing, if I do the right and left arrows, you can see that it keeps going up and down. So like here, if I go left, it goes left off the screen. That's not good. So let's do that first. We'll fix that because that's pretty easy. This is the code so far that handles it. So the way this all works is we have this editor panel manager, right? So this kind of figures out what panels are loaded, what code we have open and all that stuff. It handles the fonts, all those types of things. And so you can see here, we basically look and see if we have any files open. If we do, we go through each editor and then we update the editors. And so then updating the editors is where basically everything is happening right now. I'm doing all the logic kind of inline. We may change that, but we'll see. Anyways, so if we move the cursor, we basically want to just clamp the cursor no matter what. So what we can do is at the very bottom of this, we will say panel dot cursor byte position dot byte index equals, and I'm just going to say like clamp. And we want to clamp it. So first this to 0, which is just a integer, and then the max value will be parser dot number bytes minus 1. And technically that's not true either. So I'm doing this with like UTF-8 in mind, which is why this byte position has a byte index. And if we take a look at it, it also has the number of bytes. So with UTF-8, you have variable length width for each characters. You could have a character that is 0 bytes, 1 byte, 2 byte, or 3 bytes. Or I guess not 0 bytes, 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 bytes, or 4 bytes. So basically, we just have to keep that in mind as we're parsing, which means this is technically not correct. But it's correct enough for the moment, so we'll leave it there. Nothing takes size t int long. This is size t int. It should be able to. Let's just do this. Size t. Size t. Okay, now it's happy. Cool, so this should just clamp it. Let's just make sure that works real quickly. So, and this is kind of annoying too. Every time I go in here, I have to like go, open it up. But yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I went left and it just brought me to the top or the bottom. Weird. So if I go left, That's very weird. And we'll also have to clamp those values too. Huh. That is interesting. I thought clamp would not do that. Oh, it's because these are size T's. Okay, so it's doing wraparound. That makes more sense. Okay, so this is size T. Yeah. Oh, and I'm just logging it as a decimal. That's why. Okay, I see. Let's see then. So the easiest way to make sure we don't have wraparound, I'm just going to change these from size T's then to int 32s. I don't anticipate you opening like petabyte size files, so this should probably be fine. And let me just make sure that's all good. That's all good. Yep. Okay, cool. So do that. We're going to get some compile errors because we have type mismatches now. So I'm going to go through, find those real quickly so we hopefully minimize those. Okay, so old line byte start, current line, that's fine. Let's just compile. See what's going wrong. Yeah, so we get a bunch of errors here. Okay, let's see. So right here, first byte in selection. Yeah, so everything that's dealing with this is going to be unhappy. So we'll just do int 32. Same thing here. And same thing here. And then same thing here. Let's see what happens now. Still going to get some errors, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's go see what these are about. Fix this up. This one as well. I think this is fine. Let's see. We probably want to fix this as well, yeah. So let's go. Oh, and if I fix that, I don't actually have to do this. Let's do that real quickly. So I have a helper structure, which I should probably have in my UTF-8 library, but it's basically this, which is just char info. So it gives you like the byte index and then how many bytes are at that byte index. Because once again, UTF-8, it's a little bit more complicated. You can't just do +1, -1 when you're iterating through a string. Okay, let's see. Now we want to change this. This should just be fine, as well as this. And then we will change this to that. And now you should be good. Is that? No, we'll have to change this as well. Okay, do that. And now we're good. Almost. Once again. There we go. We should be getting close. Okay, that one. That. That and that. And that. Let's see. Not quite. Gonna be getting close soon. I gotta clean this up at some point too. This is like the proof of concept phase where I'm just kind of going through, figuring out what we need to do. And once that's figured out, we can go ahead and like make it better. Okay, here we go. So now you can see it's clamping correctly. Cursor byte stops at 0. And if we go all the way through the file, let's just click over here. It stops at 1491. Did I clamp it at -1? I did. Yeah. So what if we clamp it there? Does that do what I think it should do? No, no, that makes, well, actually, I guess that does. Yeah. Okay. So this is something else I have to fix in this right now. And I'll show you guys this in a second. Is, yeah. Okay. See, so if I go up to that, which technically is the last byte, and if we look at a text editor, if you scroll past the last character, what happens is the cursor goes over here, right? So we have here or here. We can go to the end. Technically, there is no character where my cursor is right now, right? There is no character here. But the reason you can place the cursor here is because you can insert. So it's kind of a weird thing, right? Where basically, wait, I was going to go back to the other editor. Okay, let's go back there. Yeah, we're basically like, if I click towards the end, we actually want to place the cursor at the very last character. But technically, we want to place it one past the last character, even though nothing exists there, just because, like, you can add a character here, right? And the cursor, so this is another interesting thing. After implementing this, I didn't realize how many things there are. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So if I click on M, you'll see it goes in front of the character. Click on V. I was slightly to the right of it and it went to E, but if I click slightly to the left, okay, so that's interesting too. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so there's like, if you're past the center of the letter, it goes to the next letter. But if you're behind the center of the letter, it goes to the last. That's something else I will probably want to add and fix. Because right now, if we look at mine, it does not quite do that. I can't really zoom in, which is unfortunate. But if I click on M, it goes to the front. And it stays at the front until I click on A, which, you know, maybe that's good enough. It seems to work good enough for now. But anyways, so that's one interesting thing, right? The cursor always goes in front, but then when you're drag selecting, right? So I'm dragging to the right, the cursor is to the right of the text, but then when I drag to the left, the cursor's to the left of the text. And also, when you're drag selecting, when I go right, we basically expand from the point I started at, which is here, right? But then if I go left, it goes backwards, but the selection point stays the same. So there's lots of minor things you have to think about. And this is another thing that I never thought about. What is the closest character to the mouse? And you may be like, oh, that's simple, right? It's just whichever one I'm hovered over. Sure, when you're in the text. But what about when I'm right here in between two lines? What's the closest byte? Kind of tricky, right? Because you don't really know. So I just do it to whichever one the mouse is strictly inside of the bounds of the line of. So kind of goes the halfway point of the mouse cursor there. What about, though, if you're over here? What's the closest byte to the cursor? Well, it's this one, right? And we could say, oh, we could do that by a distance, right? Technically on the distance, it's the closest here. But what about if I move it down one line? Now it's this character, but technically this character is closer than this character. The reason we're doing this one is because we strictly go on the line first to figure out which is the closest character. Then we go based on X distance. So there's lots of interesting things here that I just never thought about. And then selection is another thing, right? So when you're drawing selection, there's a reason I have this blue and red. So when I go down, you'll notice that only the last line that's being selected is red. The blue ones are when I basically have to redraw from here to the end of the line. So every time we hit a new line character, I draw basically from that character to the end of the line. And so that's different than here because here I want to stop at some point. And so, yeah, you basically just have to keep in mind that type of stuff. And when you're going up, it's a little bit different than when you're going down and all that stuff. So the red was just debugging. I was trying to make sure that everything was working right because I was getting double rectangles, which meant I was coloring twice, which I still do. This is one thing we'll have to fix. You'll notice the red and the blue intersect here. And so really what we want is just one red or one blue. So we'll have to fix that at some point as well. Anyways, though, yeah, there are other things we need to fix too. So like if I do that and then I go left and then I go right shift, that works fine. And if I go right shift here, oh, that works fine too. I didn't know that would work. That's kind of cool. But if I click, there we go. And then I did shift right, but we didn't select for some reason. And I'm looking over here. There's some weirdness going on. Okay, so let's fix this thing next. If I select with my mouse cursor, you can see we go here, but it's impossible for me to deselect the last character. And why is this happening? You'll notice that on the O, the cursor is actually moving position, but the selection isn't. If we look at the selection over here, you can see that it's at 2, and then the cursor byte is where the cursor is. So just watch that. And if we go from here, you can see cursor byte's 1 here. Selection end is 2. Cursor byte is now 0, which is also interesting because I would expect cursor byte to be 1 here since we're still in front of the O. Oh, no, it is doing that. Yeah. So wait, no, maybe not. That's also interesting. Okay. But these are basically something we have to fix, right? I coded this kind of weird. For some reason, I did the selection end as, and I guess this makes sense, as the first byte after the last character, right? So that's why we have that at 2 instead of where the cursor byte is. And so you'll notice the selection end is always 1 ahead of the cursor byte. So we have 7 and 8. Then we have 13 and 14. It breaks once we get down to here because technically we should have it right in line with the cursor. So I think this is an easy fix. Yeah, let's see. So this says the cursor byte's at 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so this is at 9. All we have to do is we just have to say, let's change that up real quick. So first we're going to change the selection end to match the cursor, instead of doing that +1 garbage that I was doing for who knows what reason. So let's go find all that stuff. And what's up, Shiloh? How's it going? Good to see you. Okay, so there's some area in here where I'm doing like selection end. I'm trying to find where I coded that stuff. Okay, here we go. I think it's this stuff. Maybe, maybe not. No, not quite there. Okay. Oh, it's right here. Okay. I thought I was still outside of the loop in here. So we're in a big loop here, which is why I was confused. Anyways, so you can see if we just started drag selecting, we basically clamp the mouse byte drag start, which is where you start dragging the first byte in the selection, last byte selection, all to the closest byte. Then I basically say, okay, if the closest byte, like we're still drag selecting, right? Because we're in this if statement. So the mouse is drag selecting. If the closest byte is bigger than the last byte in the selection, then we basically say, okay, the last panel in the byte is not this. We're going to say it's the closest byte. And then we're going to say the first byte in the drag selection is the mouse byte drag start. Does that make sense? Yes, I think it does. Yeah. So if you think about this, there's a few cases, right? So when we're moving this way, we want the last byte in the selection to be greater than where we started. This is where we started. So if we're greater than that, right? If basically the closest byte to the mouse cursor is greater than that, is that right? Yeah. Then we want the last byte in the selection to be equal to that. And then we also want the first byte in the selection to be where we started dragging, because by definition, that's basically what's happening here. Whereas if we're to the left, the last byte in the selection can never be greater than the closest byte to the mouse cursor. So that case is handled down here. And so then you can see I kind of handled that here. Otherwise, if the closest byte to the cursor is less than or equal to the last byte in the selection minus the closest byte. Wait a second. We may need to change this too. No, I think this is probably okay. But we do want to change this. Okay, so get rid of that. And then those two should be fine. Let's try this again and see what happens. We're basically trying to fix the selection ranges first real quick. So we go in here. If I drag to the right, okay, so you'll notice the selection is drawing incorrectly. That's fine, we will fix that. But what I do want to see is selection end matches the cursor byte, which is good. That's what we wanted. So you can see selection end and cursor are matching. If we go to the left, the selection begin and the cursor now match, which is good. So that's good. That's good. Now we just want to draw it in the correct position, which should be pretty easy. So now when we're drawing, okay, I think we can just change this. If the parser cursor equals the last byte in selection now, then we just do letter bounds plus that size. Yeah? And I think that should fix it. So let's see what happens. So now if I go to the right, yep, now you can see it's selecting everything. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to fix the shift selecting. So if I shift select, you'll notice everything's broken. Oh, that's really weird too. It doesn't work the first time I do it. So if I select, then I deselect, then I shift select. That's interesting. We want to fix that. Something's going on there. Yeah, but then if I do like that again. Okay, anyways, what I wanted to show you is that this is not matching because I did some weird hack in the shift selecting to account for that +1, which we no longer need. So we'll just go up here. And yep, right here you can see where I did that weird hack. So instead of doing this, we're just going to say, if that's the case, just ++. And these are all wrong too. So once again, we're working with UTF-8. These are variable width bytes or characters. So we will want to fix this at some point. Voxworks, for a moment, I thought that was Remedy BG, but then I remembered you're literally using Visual Studio for writing code, so that would be silly. Yeah, hopefully that's a good thing. It'll look better too soon. I want to add syntax highlighting, but that's not on the issues yet. Well, I mean, it is on my GitHub issues here, but we're not there yet. So, looking for it here. I've got some issues here. So we're doing this one right now. And then we want to add breakpoints, syntax highlighting, debug watch, and not necessarily in this order, IntelliSense, error highlighting, all that stuff. And so I have some subtasks here. So right now we have create new script and show it, show the line number, make sure Unicode is supported as well. That's not quite done yet. I might separate that out. We have the basis in there, but might separate it out. See the file name with the star. Got to do that too, but we still can't do basic text manipulation, so we got to work on that. We can select text blocks. We cannot edit where the cursor is. We cannot copy paste, and we cannot erase. So those are all things we want to work on. Anyways, did we fix this though? No, we didn't. I thought I just... Yeah, that's weird too. I got to fix the text selection, kind of breaking things. I thought I fixed that. So key right, shift. Okay, so if we're holding down key right and shift, we want to, if the cursor byte position, oh, I think we probably want to do this. Wait. Yeah, this is broken. Yeah, so this was another hack to fix that weird +1 thing I was doing. So let's just get rid of that, and now we should be good. Fox riffs. Oh, I see Woods. How's it going? Good to see you. I don't know if I said that or not, or I cannot speak today. Okay. Still waking up, clearly. Vox riffs. Just spent the past while explaining Git to some peeps. Man, they did not make it easy to grasp. Git still confuses me, honestly. There are some annoying things about Git. Okay, so it's working right, and now we can see that this problem is actually visible here too, which is That's really interesting. Okay. Oh, and you know what it is? It's because of this whole leading edge thing, right? Okay, remember. So when I'm drag selecting to the right, let's actually go up to the top here. When I'm drag selecting to the right, we can see here, selection begin is 0, selection end is 4. So if we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see the last character here is this L. So we actually want to highlight one past the end. But if I drag select to the left, let's do this. I'll stop there. You can see our selection begin is 1, selection end is 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But now if we look at where we start, we're actually doing the leading edge, right? We only want to select this character, and we don't actually go one past the end. Well, we do go one past the end. Basically, what I'm saying is at the boundaries, there's some differences. And this is what's leading to this weird error where we get down to here. And even though the byte is moving, the selection is not. And so I think this is just an issue with my highlighting. Yeah, this has got to be. I tried to do up and down, but I can't do that yet because I don't have it implemented. We got to fix that too. So the selection is actually working, right? If we look at this, 284, I go right. We only went up 1, 285, but it's highlighting 2. And if we see this, we're doing N. Yeah, we're drawing the text cursor. In the wrong position as well. Ooh, okay, maybe this is gonna be a little trickier than I thought. Yeah, let me think about this for a second. So, say we're at 2. We're doing 2 and 3. No, we're not. We just want to select 2 because the end is 3, which means we have one character selected. Then we go up to here. The end is 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I just have this wrong. I got to get rid of that leading edge. So we don't actually want to include the last character. 0, 1, 2, 3 is the last one. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Because if we do this, yeah, look at that. So now if we do this, the cursor's at 4. Okay, so let's get rid of that leading edge at the end, which I think I literally was just talking about why we needed it, but it looks like we do not actually need that. So let's do this minus parsed number bytes, or number bytes parsed. See, and this is why Unicode is kind of complicated. Normally you would just do -1 to check the last character, but we actually have to see how many bytes are in here, all that stuff. So yeah, that's fun. So now, okay, so now the selection is actually correct. That's right. We just have to move the cursor, which should also be easy because I added a thing in there too. So if we go to render text cursor, you can see we basically do draw position. Oh, we got to go to where we're calculating the draw position. Yeah, so I have this selection as leading thing. Yeah, we actually don't want to do this. So if I just do this, then we should be good, I believe. That actually simplifies a lot of the logic too, so that's nice. Okay, there we go. That's good. We do have to fix once we hit this edge case, which is where we are going back to the beginning. So we got to do some magic there. Something weird is happening, and I think I know what. Well, does this happen when we do dragging with the mouse too? I don't think it does. Let's see. SEO, it's a good indicator if you know a topic is if you can explain it to others. I use Git, but wouldn't be able to say a word about what it is. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. On the contrary, I think explaining it to others is a great way for learning yourself. That's also true. Okay, so this is another problem we have. So if we go to the left with the cursor here, selection end does not move down 1. when it really should. Okay, so it works when we're going this way. That's good. Right, because that's basically what we want to happen. So I just got to fix this, and then I think we've got the mouse working, and we'll just have to fix shift selecting with the arrow keys. So yeah, this stuff is complicated. If the mouse was clicked before any character, the closest byte is the first. Oh wait, no, we don't have to worry about this. This is still fine. So if panel.first byte in selection does not equal panel.last byte in selection. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine too. That's just for drawing it. Okay, this is the one I was looking. So if we're mouse drag selecting, yes, okay. So if we just started drag selecting, everything's set to equal. If the closest byte is greater than or equal to the last byte, then we set it to that. We set that to that. Else, if the closest byte is less than or equal to the last byte, yeah, I think this is right. I'm trying to, wait a second. Yeah, that looks right. So is closer, yeah. I think that should fix it. So we just needed a greater than or equal to there. And I believe we should be good now. So let's see. If we go this way, we're good. And then if I go, there we go. Okay, cool. So now when we go left and right, it stops. If we go into the middle, if we go right, we can click multiple times. My mouse has problems too. So if you ever notice, like sometimes it looks like it just unclicks and then clicks really quickly. That's not me. My mouse just has like a bad sensor or something, or like dirt or something. I'm just gonna have to get it ruined. These Logitech mice for me, for some reason, after like 2 or 3 years, the clicking contact rate or whatever, it just gets bad. And I've tried cleaning them out before and stuff, but it doesn't seem to fix it, which is annoying. The right click is really bad, and it's very annoying. Soft sponsor, not every day you see someone code a code editor. Yes. Hopefully it will be nicer soon. Syntax highlighting shouldn't actually be that hard to add since I already have syntax highlighting. Like I have a technique, I guess I should say. Right? If we go to, I was gonna say if we go to a different scene, but it looks like this scene is broken. So that's good. Not really, but if I add a code block in here. And we add this to this. And where is it being created? It's right there, it seems like. Okay, let's get rid of that actually. So this is our code block. Let's add it to the first one. And yeah, that looks fine. It's weird that I'm not seeing it now. Let's change this. Oh, there we go. Okay. So anyways, yeah, we do have syntax highlighting. It's not very efficient though. If I like start making this bigger, void, I don't know, foo, int a, int b. C++ isn't that bad because it's not very recursive, the grammar. I say that, it's very recursive, but compared to something like JavaScript, it's not that bad. But you can see already, as I get further down here, it starts getting pretty slow. And the reason it gets so slow is because the way I'm highlighting this stuff right now is I basically reparse the entire text block every single time something changes, which we don't actually need to do. The way I've coded it is it should be pretty easy to go. If I change a line, just to start reparsing from that line, from that character, and we will do that eventually. So that instead of reparsing the entire thing, you just have to make sure you can parse a line quickly. But yeah, so anyways, my point is we do have code blocks. So since we have code blocks, we should be able to add syntax highlighting to this thing using the same techniques. I do have to write a grammar too. Text editor inside game engine editor. This isn't a game engine editor. So to add more confusion, this is actually a animation editor. So if we go over here, oh, and I got to fix this because it's showing a text cursor because, yeah, we'll fix that. This is actually for animation. So you can see we've got like these things drawing in. This is the camera. If we look at the view, you can see what we're seeing in the actual animation. And then if we wanted to, we can also like export that video. So something like this, go to videos. There we go. Test movie 2. So we can do this and it exports a MOV. I could support other formats at some point, but I don't want to go through the pain of FFmpeg again. So we'll see about that. I can't remember. I think if I stop exporting early, it messes things up just because of the way video files work, where like, I think I'm lagging too. I don't know. This is very CPU intensive, exporting videos. So if I bring up my task manager, you can see we're using 100% CPU. And we're using a lot of memory too, because this opens up files and it basically uses virtual file access and all that stuff. So yeah. Gabe knows it all. Game engine animation editor, you name it. Looks almost the same as game engine editors. Yeah, I did do that at one point too, but this is for YouTube videos. Game engine editor, I may get back to at some point. I don't know. Anyways, though, so now that we have that exported as a video, if I go and open this up, we can see that we have our video. And it's upside down because I've changed some settings and I have to fix that again. Basically flip the buffers. But yeah, so we've got all this. And that's how it works. Anyways. Oh, wow, my syntax highlighting. Oh, I was going to say it broke. It didn't break. It's highlighting it correctly. It's just that I wrote it wrong. There's no closing quote or parenthesis. There we go. Okay, so anyways, one thing we got to fix too. You'll notice the cursor. Oh, you guys can't see the cursor, and I don't even have my cursor highlighter on. Sorry about that. Now you can see where I'm doing stuff. That would be helpful since I've been using that a lot. Anyways, you can't see the cursor, but it's turning into a text cursor, which I've got to fix. Zach, YouTube been on pause? Pretty much, yeah. I'll get back to it eventually. I'm not going to say when because I have no idea. It's just very hard to find motivation to do much at all, including YouTube. So yeah. SE Woods, are you itching to release YouTube videos on this, or has it been good to... Yeah, it's been pretty good to take a break. And I know it sounds weird because the break has been like almost a year long at this point, but there's just a lot of other stuff going on. So it's like, it's good to stop for a little bit. And the older I get, the more I realize like a year actually isn't that long. Used to feel like it, but now it doesn't feel like it because it goes by way too fast. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're coding a code editor. And we want to fix the cursor. So somewhere in here, I'm setting the cursor to... Yeah, here we go. So basically what we should do is if this window isn't even active, we don't want to update it at all. Because updating is actually going to take a long time. So we'll say like I'm GUI is active. Window is window focused, hovered. We basically just want to see if it's visible. And I think we can see that. Like there's, let's see, if we get window. Nope. Get current window. Nope. Get window. I know there's ways to see like if this is actually window visible. Nope. Let's see. Let's just do this. Jump into here. I am GUI window. Let's go into here. Because I know there's fields in here. I've seen them before. At least I think I have. Yeah, okay. There's something I just saw. Appearing hidden. Okay. Do not display. So we've got hidden. And then we have active. Yeah, and this is the one I want. Set to true on begin unless collapsed. Yeah, let's try that one. But how do I get my window stuff? My window properties. Window active. No. Get window. You'd think it would be like just get window. SC Woods, do you use Blender any, Gabe? Really starting to enjoy that piece of software. I have been using it a little bit, and I am also enjoying it. I'll show you guys some stuff in a minute because I'm pretty proud of what I've done. They're not the greatest renders and stuff, but I'm working on it. So how do I get my window properties? I can do like get window draw list, all this stuff. Yeah, I can do all sorts of stuff like that, but I can't just get the window. Okay, time to Google. I was trying to avoid it. I'm GUI, get window is active. And actually, I don't even need to do that because I already do this for the animation panels, which are in editor GUI.cpp. Right? I think I do. Yeah, so if we go here, draw editor viewport. Yeah, okay, so editor viewport is active equals this. Okay, so I think this is what I want. It's something like this. Yes. Okay, and we can do that. Okay, yeah, and we can do that by literally just going into here. Let's see, so this manages all the code panels. In our for loop, there we go. I'm GUI begin window. So if we do this, window is active. If window is active, then we'll update it. Otherwise, we will leave it alone. And I think that's all we need. Let's just do this too, though. Is active, because I want to make sure we have that right. Is window focused? See, focus doesn't work because we still want to render everything. So even if it's not focused, we still kind of need to know what's going on there, which is unfortunate. So we can see we got nothing going on there. If we look at it now, we've got all that stuff. If I click off of it, it's still active. But then if I click here, it is not active. Okay, that's exactly what I want. And then if I even like drag it out, it is active. But yeah, if I do this and then, yeah, okay, that's good. Cool. So that seems to be working. And then if I close it, of course, it's not active. Sweet. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. Let's get rid of that now. As you would, oh, now I'm excited. I will try to put together a short film given some time. That's cool. I have not been doing animation in Blender. That's one thing that I want to get to. Okay, so now when I'm in here, and I know you guys can't see this, but I have a text cursor, but then if I click to something else, even though I'm technically within the bounds of that, I have a regular mouse cursor. So that's good. Okay, cool. So this is turning out good. We should actually add text now, right? If I type, nothing happens, but we should let that work because that's kind of important for a text editor. We will do that in just 1 second. First, so I think I showed you guys like last time I streamed, but I have been working on a VR game. And so this is in Unreal. Haven't made much progress because I've been learning Blender. And so I've been following Grant Abbott's tutorials and he's amazing. So if you need to learn Blender or something, watch that. There's just so much to learn in Blender though. It's like, and I gotta fix, like sometimes I've been adding like depth of field. And so I don't have the focus set properly on the camera and stuff, which means it looks kind of blurry. but some of them look better than others. I wanted the VR game to be like Half-Life Alyx quality, which means hard surface modeling, and I'm regretting that decision because hard surface modeling is hard. So we'll see if I actually stick with it. These chess pieces are actually really crappy too. You can't tell. Oh wait, no, these are the good ones. Okay, so these are the really bad ones. I tried these first by myself and had really bad topology and everything, but then I redid it and these are like in the same place and you can kind of see the edges are just better. I've got like the little circles up there and all that stuff. So, and the topology is way better, which means you don't get rendering artifacts and stuff. But yeah. What did I call the YouTube channel? Grant Abbott. So if you look it up, Grant Abbott, I might have spelled his name wrong. Yeah, this guy, Grant Abbott. And so he's got beginner Blender courses. It's amazing. He's got so much stuff here. If you want to learn Blender, check this guy out. It's awesome. Texturing is something that's completely different though. And you need a whole other set of skills for that stuff, which is just, that's just great. But it is what it is. Okay, so what about if we want to edit? If we want to add text, how the heck do we add text? Well, you can do all sorts of fancy things, right? You can go come up with a rope data structure. And a rope data structure is basically something that's like you have a node like a tree, and this tree kind of has like little snippets, and then you traverse the tree to figure out like what text is where. And so you can add strings without actually reallocating and all this stuff. And so you can see they have all this too. The problem is that's complicated. And oftentimes it's probably not necessary. So what we're going to do is we're just going to reallocate the buffer, insert the piece of text in the one area we need, and shift all the other text over. Okay? So it's really that simple. We'll see what happens. First of all, what we'll need though is we will need a character callback. So a character callback is different than a key callback because it does not log non-visible character presses, right? So if we look up GLFW character callback, this is what people usually use for input. And I think if you go down to the operating system level, you typically have differences for these things too. And the reason is, depending on the keyboard, depending on all sorts of stuff, you have no idea what they're typing because they could have a different language keyboard, all sorts of stuff. You don't want to try and figure it out yourself. Voxorus, maybe use a gap buffer instead of a dynamic array. Gap buffer. Yeah, where you leave... The gap is represented by empty space, representation is misleading. Yeah, and see, that could work too, where like each line has a gap at the end of it or something. I want to do the simplest thing possible. We'll see what the performance is. If it's bad, we'll increase it. But I read this one article, and this is the reason for why I've done it this way so far. I think this is the one. And he wrote an article about it too. Somewhere. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Nope, not this one. Oh man, I'm never gonna be able to find it now. Maybe, yeah, I think it was Zig. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I think it was Zig. And this looks correct. Text editor Zig. How I coded it, I don't know. Man, I wish I could find it. Was it this one? Might have been this one. Anyways, besides the point. I don't think that was the article. He wrote a text editor and then he basically said that he was going to do some fancy data structures and everything. And instead of doing that, he just did the simplest thing possible and found out that performance was much hotter in a lot of different areas than actually inserting and removing text and stuff. So I'm kind of curious and just want to try that as well. Zach, you can allocate to And I guess it's Zach. So, or Zaka. I don't know. I'm saying your name wrong, so sorry about that. But you can allocate 2 buffers and use it to store modified text buffer. That way you don't need to malloc new memory. That's a good idea. So one step kind of further removed and just kind of toggle back and forth between those. I think I like that. And you juggle, yeah. It's just a dynamic array, but the extra capacity is at the cursor instead of at the head. Oh, that's interesting too, huh? The problem with that is if we move the cursor, then we've got to move that buffer and it ends up being the same. And I think that actually might be worse because then instead of just having to do things whenever you enter text, now you're doing it every single time you have like a key press or a cursor select or something. Zaka, and grow only when necessary. This way you get no actual allocations. Yeah, we'll do the simplest thing first, get it working, and then we'll expand from there and see if we can get it faster. So we'll make it nice too, so that if we do want to add further complications, it should be constrained to one area in the code. Okay, sorry if you guys can hear me sipping coffee too. Not trying to do that to you. Anyways, let's go. There should be like character callback in here. Keyboard input. Okay, so we have key callback. This is just for generic keys, right? But then text input. So glfw supports text input in the form of a stream of Unicode code points as produced by the operating system and text input system. So this is why we want to use this. It's different and it's better. It's just better. So anyways, what we can do, oh, and this is good, but can you go from a code point to, I don't think I have that in my UTF-8 parser. Code point to bytes UTF-8. Okay, yeah, so this is just like the encoding. So this is going to be more complicated. We will ignore Unicode for now. We'll still take the code point, but since we know that I have an ASCII keyboard, this will be a little bit simpler. You can ASCII 32 minus 126 maps directly to code point, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and that'll work for now since we're just doing ASCII. In the future, though, we will have to expand because UTF-8 is a little bit more complicated and you have like bits kind of combined in weird places. So we'll have to expand at some point. Voxref's gap buffers are used by 4Coder and it works with massive files seamlessly, so it should be fine. That's interesting. I wonder how he handles it when you're moving around the text cursor. Because it seems to me that you're just shifting the problem. Like, no pun intended. But that's interesting. Zaka, I want to create my own editor also, but doing a compiler for now. Compiler's pretty tough too, so but also very fun. And Unknown Bat, what happened to the Minecraft series? It's on hiatus for now until I can find the motivation to work on it and stuff again. So we'll see. And yeah, 4Coder is open source, so we can see exactly what it does. I'll check that out at some other point just to see. But for now, simplest thing. What we need though is we need this character callback. So let's go into our window. And we're going to go ahead and add, if we don't already, which we don't, glfw set character callback or set char callback. glfw window and character. We're going to want to do input character callback. Okay, let's go to input.h. We're going to add void character callback, glfw window star window, and then it looked like it just had a uint 32 there. Yes. Code point. Okay, so we'll do this. Input.cpp. And I put that below scroll callback. Okay, we'll go here and we need some data. My input library is massively complicated. I will try and simplify this at some point because it definitely feels way more complicated than it should be. Anyways, though, character, last character typed equals 0. That works for me. The null byte. Okay, so we'll do that. And then we can literally just say last character typed equals code point. And we're good there. Get rid of that. Then we will go over to here. We'll say uint32 get last character typed. Right? And where was that? That was below key repeated or down. Or down. The reason this is so complicated too is because I have my input library where it handles like alternate keys, or I guess key combos and stuff. So you can do like Control Shift and it returns true or false whether you only have that key combo pressed. So it's a little bit more complicated than it probably should be. But in the common case, I try to make it fast, where normally this is not what you're normally doing. So normally it should be pretty quick. I don't know. I go back and forth whether it should be this complicated or not, but we'll see. I'm GUI layer. I think I might need to fix this up too. Because now that we're intercepting this, we need to pass this stuff forwards to IMGUI. At least I think we do. Maybe we don't. Key callback. Yeah, so I'm not forwarding the key callback anywhere. Let's check our window. And I'm setting it directly there. Does IMGUI use multiple callbacks now? So you don't actually, if it does, I didn't even know that. Okay, we'll find out soon if it's working or not. But now we should be able to tell when a character is typed and we can grab it here. So basically, yeah, I'm literally just gonna say if, and we'll change this up. Get last character typed, which should just return true if we actually have a character there. So we'll see. And then we're just gonna remalloc everything for now, and we'll fix that later. So for now, we have our cursor byte position. We've got the index and everything, so that's good. So we're gonna say size t insert position equals panel.cursor byte position byte index, and actually we want to insert in front of the cursor, right? Trying to think about this. No, we want to do behind the cursor. Yeah, so like say this was the beginning of the string. This is 0. And I add a character, we want it, yeah, and even the cursor goes in front of it. So that's also interesting. So when I press the character, yeah, okay. So basically, this is the insert position. Yeah, that's correct. Cool. So character typed size bytes equals 1. We'll change that eventually. And then what we'll say is we'll say uint8 star, or actually I can just do this, parse info new character buffer equals that. Yeah, which is unfortunate. So we'll have to do it this way. So there's some things I'm probably gonna want to change about this at some point. We'll get around to that. For now, though, we'll just say new character buffer equals allocate size of uint8 times parse info, or I guess just parser dot number bytes plus character typed size bytes. And I love it when the IntelliSense just fails and does not tell me anything. So we do that. Do that. uint8 star. Okay. Why is this not happy? parser dot, it's because we don't have a parser, is it? It is. Okay, let's move this up to there. Now we should be fine. Cool. Okay, so then what do we want to do? We want to memory, we want to like copy, right? So first we'll say copy mem. Destination is going to be the new character buffer. Destination number of bytes is going to be panel.cursor byte position. Dot byte index minus, no, I think that's right. Yeah. Trying to think about this. I think that should be fine. Yeah. Okay, so that's the number of bytes. Yes, and that should be fine. The source is going to be our parser.utf8 string. And then the source number of bytes is going to be same thing. And actually, this is slightly wrong. So what we want to do, this first argument is just to prevent buffer overflows. So what we actually want to do is like new char buffer size. And this will just make sure that we're not going to like overrun our memory if we do this. So let's do that. And then we're going to go ahead and just change this to new char buffer size. Okay. So we do that. This should be a void star. Okay, so now we should be good. Then we just want to copy this character into that position. So we'll just literally say copy mem, new char buffer plus panel.cursor byte position.byte index. Okay. Destination number bytes, new char buffer size, and let's actually just minus equals how many did we copy? We copied this many. Okay, so now we're good there. And then source is gonna be the code point. So we'll just do code point. We'll say, this is interesting too. So in C++, you can do this. And now what we're doing is we're creating a variable scope to this if statement and also checking if it's not equal to 0. We don't need the not equal to 0 there, but we'll leave it in just for, so we know. Anyways, so we got that. Source number of bytes, size of uint32. And that should be fine. That should be fine. Okay. Then we'll say this, minus equals panel.cursor, or minus equals size of uint32. And then one more copy. This plus cursor byte position plus size of uint32. Destination number of bytes is new char buffer size. Source is going to be where we're coming from, which is our parser.utf8 string plus cursor byte position byte index. And then the new size is going to be parser dot number bytes minus panel dot cursor byte position dot index. Okay, and I think that should be good. Okay, so we've got that. We'll just do that. Make this a little bit nicer. Okay, so we copy all that memory. Now we have a new buffer. So now we can literally just say parser dot utf8 string equals new char buffer. Number bytes equals new buffer size. We probably, actually, let's just do this. We'll say parse info new parser equals parser. Yeah, and then what we can do is we can do new parser dot number bytes equals that. Okay, so we don't have to do it down here, and we kind of keep that memory. New parser dot utf8 string equals that. Let me just make sure this all makes sense. Okay, so we got that. Then we're going to allocate that. We can actually do it down here too. Okay, new parser number bytes. We've got that, and the cursor should be the same as whatever it was in that. So we should be fine there. Okay, so then we do this. We have now copied everything into the new parser, and then we just want to free the old parser. So then we would just say parser free. No, I don't have that. So we just want to do g memory free parser dot utf8 string. Okay, and then we want to swap one more time. So then we'll just say parser equals new parser. Okay, so that is the simplest way we can do this. Robot J, don't you need an offset to make in the copy to make room for the newly typed character? Oh, okay, yeah. So we have the offset there. It is embedded with the new size there. Yeah. Okay, so now we should be good. Hopefully. Let's see if it works. This is why copying, I don't know, string manipulation in C++ sucks. It's just a pain every time. Although UTF-8 string manipulation is pretty much a pain in any language because none of them, well, there's probably some with first-class support. But most, you still have to do extra stuff. You can't just use like the normal string type or whatever. Which is probably fine too, because there's lots of strings you probably don't want to be UTF-8. So yeah. Why are you not happy? So this is an int32. We're casting to a size t. And what are you saying? Oh, it's not referenced. Oh, okay. Okay, well, if it's not referenced, we can get rid of it. So that's fine. I guess I didn't end up using that. We just used yeah, we just used that. Okay. Cool. So let's see what happens. If I go here, let's make it a little bit more complicated. Space. No, we got an assertion error. Cannot do G memory copy mem. Okay, so this is good. 1484 is not big enough for size 1487. So either I just did some subtraction wrong, or we would have had a buffer overrun there. So new char buffer size. Okay, so let's see what we did here. The new parser size total is 1493. The old buffer has a size of 1492. So that's good, right? We've added one character. The new parser, yeah, 1493. And then we've copied the local and then a space there. That's good. Oh, this is wrong. We don't, yeah, this is wrong too. Okay, see, so this is why we add these checks. Because then you find stuff that you did wrong. We don't actually want to do size of uint32 because we don't know that. We want to do the character typed size times size of uint8, which is technically just 1. So like it doesn't really matter, but it is what it is. So then we'll just say size t character typed size equals that. And we can go ahead and just do that. And then here, we'll keep that because it doesn't really matter. Let's see. So we do that, and then we just want to do this. And now we should be good. Voxriffs. Odin does use UTF-8 easily. Oh, cool. All ASCII strings are also valid UTF-8. Yep. You do still need to validate, which is the one annoying thing. And then Odin is just the father of Thor. Yes, also true. Okay, so we can see it's working. I don't know why these ones are disappearing and our line count is going down. That's weird. But we can see that it's working. It's just that it continues to go. Oh, and then we have Unicode, malformed Unicode. Okay, so I must not be copying stuff. Oh, it's because of this. That's why the lines were disappearing. So see, this is why we have UTF-8 validation and stuff. Because what I was doing was I was doing this bad indexing and messing up the ASCII. But now if we do this, character typed size, right? So now that's correct. And now if I do space again, it's going to keep going forever because we're not actually clearing that, but we'll fix that in a minute. But we shouldn't see the line count just disappear now. So if I go here, space. Okay, yeah. So now that just kind of messes that up. Cool. Let's make sure it doesn't go off to infinity though. So inside of input, we just want to go to end frame. And then inside of here, after the frame is over, we'll just say last typed character equals 0 and just clear that out. Okay, so now we should be able to do some stuff. Let's see. There we go. Okay, but the cursor's not moving. If I hit delete or backspace, it's not doing anything too. Yeah, okay, so working, but not quite. Let's just bump the cursor. So after we do this, we just want to say panel.cursor plus plus. Okay. And then one other thing I want to do. So since we've just added text, clearly we can't have text selection. So I just want to make sure I reset these values too. Eventually I'll probably want to change this stuff so that this kind of happens automatically or something. So we do that, copy that a couple times because there's a couple other variables. Byte, we have first byte in the selection, last byte in selection, and there might be one more, but I don't think there is. Byte, yeah, so we're good there. Okay, so we bump the cursor, we bump the selection because clearly nothing is selected if we've just typed. And I think we should be good. So, yeah, look at that. Okay, I can't backspace yet, but 1, 2, 3. Cool. And if I do shift, so I'm modifying the keys, and then caps lock. Uh-oh, wait, oh, I didn't have it on. Okay, yeah, so caps lock works too. Cool, so this is great because it works. That's why it's great, right? I mean, nothing else needs to be said. Let's add backspace. So backspace, 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 backspace. If we have backspace, should be easy. Handle text insertion. Handle backspace, and then we'll have handle delete, of course. So if key is pressed, GLFW key delete. And so once again, these key modifiers are nice. This is why the input library is so hard. I guess it's more complicated than it needs to be. So you can say none, which means that only the delete key is pressed. Nothing else is pressed, and that's the default. But you could also say only if the delete key is pressed with the alt key and control key. And now this will only go if control, alt, and delete. It won't go if you just have control, delete. So I've enhanced the input library to help me out there, which is nice. But anyways, this is backspace, not delete. So let's fix that. SE Woods, have I ever worked on one of those huge vertical screens, Gabe? I have not. I don't know. My brother likes that stuff. I'm not one of those people, I guess. Maybe I'll try it one time and I'll change my mind. The ultra wide monitors though, that I could see myself liking. Usually with me, right? And this is a thing, I forget where I read this, but humans, they read better scanning horizontally, which is why when you go to a grocery store, you don't scan up and down, right? You scan top row, middle, next, and you just do that because it's the way our brains work. And so if I want more real estate for my screen. I want it to be horizontal because I'm going to be reading horizontally anyways, and it just helps me more. The vertical estate doesn't really help me too much unless I just want to see a big picture anyways. So I feel like for artwork, that actually might be nice, just having a giant screen, but code editing, not so much in my opinion. I don't know. And I didn't know if it was common where I think some people in my work do have those. Maybe one day I'll have to try it out, but I have nothing against it. It's just, I like vertical or horizontal screens. So we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind. Okay. So if we hit the backspace key, I cannot speak today. This is actually simpler. So what we want to do, and I am actually going to reallocate here too. So you may be like, don't reallocate. We don't need to do that, blah, blah, blah. But it's fine for the most part, right? Because actually what reallocate does is it usually doesn't even completely deallocate that memory. It usually just holds it, right? Because your operating system, it allocates blocks of like 4 kilobyte pages if you're on Windows. And so if I say like reallocate and we still have one of these pages, it's actually going to keep that memory reserved. And so then when I reallocate again and grow, it's not actually going to request new memory. It's probably just going to bump a pointer. So reallocate is probably actually fine for most times. But anyways, let's do this. So we just hit backspace. How many bytes do we want to remove? Well, we want to do size t number of bytes to remove equals panel dot selection minus panel dot first byte in selection. Yes, that's how many bytes we want to remove. Bytes to remove offset equals panel dot first byte in selection. Okay. We don't need to do, I'm actually just going to get rid of all this except for this stuff because that's probably going to be useful. We're going to get rid of all of that. And then what we can do is we can just say G memory move. Do I have a move? Move? Maybe I don't have move. I should have move in here. Yeah, that's something I got to add. So difference between move and copy. Move and copy aren't really different. They basically do the same thing, but the only thing is if I do move, and it might just be mauve. No. M move? No. There is a command. I know this. Let's see. libc move. Or maybe it's just stdlib. I can never remember. C. No. Okay. Move memory. C. Mem move. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe I do have it then. Let's see. G memory mem move. No, I do not. G mem move. No. Okay. So we'll do mem move. Difference is it just makes sure intersections, which is what we have here, are handled correctly. So if you copy memory, chances are when you intersect, it's going to overwrite and mangle your data. But mem move, just make sure that doesn't happen. So anyways, our destination is going to be our parser dot UTF-8 string plus bytes to remove offset. The source is going to be parser dot UTF-8 string plus bytes to remove offset plus number bytes to remove. And then our size is going to be parser dot number bytes minus the offset. Okay, let's do this real quick. So size t bytes to move offset equals, wait, we want an offset. So we actually just want to do parser dot number bytes minus, wait a second. Okay. Yeah, parser dot number bytes minus bytes to remove offset. Yeah. Plus number bytes to remove. Okay. That's the offset that we want there. Also, thank you, Frecky Lol, for subscribing at tier 1. Thanks for 16 months. Dang, thanks, man. Good to see you too, by the way. Okay, so this is the bytes we want to move their offset. So we are going to do that that, and that. So we want to move okay, so this is the source. So destination source. Okay, so source is actually bytes to move offset. So parser.utf8 string plus bytes to move offset. Okay. Yep. And then the number of bytes we want to remove is just parser.numberBytes minus bytes to move offset. Okay, and so we should move. Yeah, that should do what we want it to do. Okay. Frecky Lul, I'm Sam. I renamed. Oh, hey, what's up, Sam? I was like, I thought I recognized the Frecky name, but good to see you. It's been a while. You're going to have to show us any progress on your Minecraft clone. So Sam is also working on a Minecraft clone, which is amazing. And I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm really curious to see what progress you've made. Zaka, anyone knows the convenient way to iterate a directory in C? Is there a clean cross-platform header library? I have no idea. I use C++ directly because of that reason, that there's just no good. There's lots of C stuff that's not the greatest, which is unfortunate. Okay, anyways. Voxorifs might know, though. He uses C a lot more than me. Anyways, so we've moved the memory, which means we've effectively backspaced over it. And now we just want to realloc. So we'll just say realloc void star parser.utf8 string. The new size is going to be parser.numberBytes minus number bytes to remove. Okay. And then we'll just say parser.numberBytes equals parser. I guess we can just do minus equals. We can actually do that. And then we can just do that. Even better. Okay, so we've moved the memory. We've backspaced. We've done this. And then one last thing we want to do too. So if nothing is selected, we want to make sure we still backspace, which means we do have to change this up a little bit. So if number bytes to remove equals 0. Okay. So basically, if nothing is selected, we still want to remove at least 1 byte. And technically, we want to do not just 1 byte, but panel dot cursor byte position dot number bytes. So however many bytes are at whatever our cursor is. Does that make sense? No, because we actually want to do... Think about this real quick, or at least I do. This is how many bytes are here. We want to remove behind it, which means we don't actually know. So let's actually do 1 for now. To do, fix me, well, I guess find out how many bytes are behind the cursor and delete that number for UTF-8. We also have one more to do because I also said that here. Okay. To do add method to convert code point to UTF-8 bytes and use that instead. Okay. So this is all fine though. So we basically do this. We also want to move our cursor back 1. So instead of doing this, we're going to say minus minus. Possibly. We'll see. We might have to change that. Zach, I don't like C++ bloat factor. Yeah, that's fair. Frecky, I'm now a co-owner of Game Engine. Oh, sweet company. I'm working with a guy from America. It's full-fledged engine. We're planning to work on Ember Sky with that engine. So the game is paused for now. We already got some investors, so I'm working full-time on it. That is awesome. Very cool. You have to let us know when you release that, because I always love seeing new engines under development and everything. So nice job, man. That is not easy, but very cool. Okay, so if I hit backspace, we're crashing. Let's see what happens. So the mem move is not happy. Why is that 0? Oh, okay, this is, yeah. This should be panel.cursor byte position byte index. Okay. Now we should be good, hopefully. Okay, so we go here. Okay, that almost worked. I don't know quite what happened there. Let's do that again. I'm going to close this. Okay, and now we're not happy here either. So I definitely broke something. Try to free memory that's already been freed. Code that attempted to free. Okay. Oh, I need to also, equals that. That would help. So yeah, if we don't do that, then we're using garbage memory, which is not good, which is probably why I saw that weird bug happen. Okay, so backspace. Okay, still weird. And I can't, it deselected way more than it should have. Okay, so if we exit out of that, cool. So now we're good. Okay, so let's see. Selection begin is 0, selection end is 0. This is something we got to fix too. Let's just fix that real quick. So when we click, if mouse clicked and not dragging, yeah, so if we click, we should be doing that. Okay, let me just break into here real quick and see what's wrong. So if I go ahead and I just click over here, actually I know exactly what's wrong. So I've clicked over there, but we haven't actually reset this yet. So we have to move this below the loop because we don't actually know what the closest byte to the mouse cursor is yet. So let's grab that and let's actually go ahead and grab this too. So we will grab these two. We'll go all the way down to the bottom. And then we'll do this. And we'll also say if mouse in text area. Okay. And there we go. And I think we need to do panel. Okay. So now that should be correct. And I think this was the problem I was seeing previously too. I was seeing a lot of problems and wondering what the heck was up with that. So if I click here, there we go. Now everything's right. If I backspace, and that's still not right. We're deleting way more text than we should be. I don't know if we're deleting it or what's happening. Let's just go to where this is happening and just make sure everything is correct. Okay, so restart this and see what happens. At Games with Gabe, and how are you doing? Seems like this video editor project is quite big. It's really nice to see the progress you made. Thanks. I'm doing good too. And this is, I've definitely made a lot of progress. I need to actually start using all the progress I've been making here. But I've got like Blender like hotkeys in here. So if I press G, I can move this. If I hit Shift Z, it clamps it to just the X and Y axis. If I hit Z, we're moving along the Z axis, X axis. So, you know, and then we can rotate. So if I do R, it should rotate, but it's not. If I do S, yeah, so S is working. Oh, I don't have rotate working yet, I think. But if I change this to rotate, we can go rotate stuff. Clearly not rotating around the correct axis, but we do have it. We can turn off the gizmos too if it's just annoying, which is cool. I also have like, if you press Shift G, you can go up to the root. So that's good for compound objects like this, where basically I click that and then I want to select the whole object. So we can do this. So there's lots of features in here and stuff. And then you can see too, like everything still animates. So if we do this, we can kind of see it animating real time and stuff. So progress is good. And now we're adding this code editor because instead of fixing the things I should be fixing, I want to do something fun, which turns out this is more fun for me. So probably shouldn't be working on this, but I like it. Okay, let's see. So Number of bytes to remove is 0. So we're going to say, actually, we want to remove 1 byte. Then the bytes to remove offset. Okay, so that looks good. That's like where we're at. Now the bytes to move offset, that's wrong. I can tell that's wrong. And I don't know why I complicated that so much. It should just be bytes to remove offset plus number of bytes to remove. Yeah, I overcomplicated that one. Let's try this again. Make sure all the values are correct, and then we'll see if it's gonna work appropriately. So we go into here. I hit backspace. Okay, we want to remove 1 byte. 75, 76, we move the memory. And so now we have 1 less byte. If we look at the string, I think it's probably going to be okay. Let's check it out. Okay, so if I do backspace, that's good. Last thing I want to fix is I actually don't want to change the cursor position. So normally we would subtract. Well, actually, okay. We would do minus equals number bytes to remove minus 1. So that way, if we remove a selection, we actually do need to move it back. But if we want to do 1 less, because otherwise it won't work right. Let's see. Size T, int 32. So we'll just do that, and that should be fine. Okay, let's see what happens. So now the cursor should be in the correct spot. Hopefully. Okay. We're removing the wrong character though. Okay, so it looks like I'm off by 1. Okay, we actually want to do minus. We want to go back 1. Wait a second, does that make sense? Let's check this out. Okay, so the cursor's at 0 here. If we do a backspace, yeah, we want to do the 1 behind it. So we would go back 1. That makes sense. And I think I was trying to do that in another area, but I did that incorrectly. So I think this is actually correct for selection. So if we have a selection, we actually do want to do that, but yeah. So I think what we want to do is we actually want to say something like first byte in selection if panel.first bytes equals panel.last byte. So meaning we have no text selected, we actually want to say minus equals 1, and then to do find out how many bytes are behind the cursor. Oh yeah, and that's what I was trying to do here. Ah, okay. So let's actually do this. Number of bytes to remove equals 1, and we can actually do that. Okay. So we move it back 1 too, because we actually want to remove the character behind us. I think that should work. I've been saying that a lot, but let's see. Okay, so there we go. The H is gone, and now I actually do want to change. So I did have the cursor logic correct at first. We actually do want to do that. Man, the compile, edit, wait loop cycle gets annoying after a while. Okay, so the E is gone. The cursor moves back 1. If I select some text, that's good. Wait, did we? Okay, WH and the space. That's all gone. The cursor's in the wrong position though. Do we just want to move the cursor back 1 no matter what? I think we do. I think no matter what, we only want to move it back 1. Let's see if that works, because I can't be bothered to verify whether it should or not. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, we've moved back too far though. So when we remove one character, we do want to do it. When we remove multiple, we actually don't want to move back one. So what we can do is we can just say if panel dot last byte in selection equals panel dot first byte in selection. We'll move it back one. Otherwise, we'll leave it the same. And then we do still want to correct this stuff because now even if we've just deleted a bunch of text, we don't want to be selecting anything anymore. So let's try that. And we go here. That works correctly. And then we go here. And so now we can add spaces. We can type. And it all seems to be working correctly. And pretty fast. I want to get the delete key working too. And then we also need things like Control Shift, where you can select the whole word. You know, you go to a boundary or whatever. Yeah, that all looks fine. Cool. We also need the up and down arrow keys where we go up or down, which is a little bit more complicated. If I select a bunch of text, so let's go delete these lines. That all worked. Ah. I see. So that all worked. I wish I had Control Z right now. We don't. We will soon though. I have it for everything else. What just happened there though? So if I delete that text, that works fine. That's what we would expect. But if I do it the other way, now the cursor is here and the cursor stays in that position, which is why we're getting this. So what we want to do is if this, else if panel dot cursor dot index equals the last byte in the selection. Then we want to say panel dot cursor byte position dot byte index minus equals number of bytes to remove. And we might actually be able to just do that. And I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Because it'll be 1 in the normal case, and then otherwise it shouldn't be 1. So I think we should be able to do that, and it should work. This is what, int 32? Okay. And let's do this. So we get rid of that. Okay, there we go. It's in the correct place. And I think that was broken last time, right? Or wait, no, that was the one that was working fine. So if I do this, and I have to fix, clearly that's not working very good. So I have to fix those edge cases. And that's working good as well. Oh, that's not good though. I'm hitting backspace and we're deleting it. So one thing we do want to fix though is if panel.byte cursor byte position dot byte index equals 0, we don't want to do any of this. And this is where it would be good to have like a function to remove this stuff. I'm debating. I'll do that later. For now, we'll just do this. Okay, so if we're at the start of the file, we don't want to remove anything. And yep, that works. That works. That works. Cool. This thing's starting to feel like a text editor. We can do this. Yep. Awesome. I need so many other keys though. I keep trying to do like Control Shift and everything and like the home and the end keys, but nothing works. Insert is one key that I hate though. So maybe we just won't implement that, but I probably will because it's important for some people, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, we've got that working. We select that, backspace. Ooh, okay. Edge case, so many edge cases. Okay, so if we're at the first byte and the selection, there's nothing selected. Only then. But if we have something selected, we do want to delete that. So yeah. Another edge case, but now, come on, that should work. Oh, wait, or that. Okay, that's what I wanted. And now that works. Why do we have a D there? What just happened? I didn't have it selected, that's why. Another thing, I gotta fix the selection for things like that. The enter key, we gotta do that too. So space works, but enter does not, so we gotta fix that. Trying to think. Next thing, let's get this thing saving and closing. So we've got some basic editing stuff. It's not great, but we can edit. Now we want to see if the file's been edited. If it is, we want to display a star here. And when you press Control S, we want to actually save the file. So those things should be simple enough. All we will do is we'll change this up. This will return a bool. The bool will tell us whether or not the file has been edited. So we'll do this. We'll just say bool file has been edited equals false. These are fine. These are fine. If we do backspace and something changes, true. If we do text insertion, true. And let's just make sure return. We do not return early in here. I don't think we do, but gotta make sure. Okay, we do not. Return file has been edited. And so now inside of our manager thing here, this will basically just check and see. We will add some metadata. Bool is edited without save. And then we can say panel.is, well actually, bool has been edited equals that. And then we can say editor.isEdited without save equals that, or has been edited. Okay, so now we will know if the file's been edited. If it has, IMGUI actually gives us a window flag that we can use. So we could say IMGUI window flags, save something, unsaved document. Yeah, look at that. So we can do int window flags equals that, otherwise 0. Oh, otherwise 0. Cool. So now when we edit stuff, we should see like a little circle or something pop up in that tab. And then we'll add the functionality so that if you press Control S and you have it open, it should select or should save it. Okay, so if I do that, yeah, look at that. So we get a little circle up here telling us this thing is not saved. And then if I go in here, foo, interesting. Where's my text cursor? Okay, so that's something else we want to fix. If there's no bytes, we still want to draw the text cursor. I just don't have that. But yeah, you can see that's also been, and then if I close it, we'll probably want to like pop up a warning or something that says, do you want to save? All that stuff. Anyways, this part should be easy though. Control S if the file's open. So if window is active and input key pressed, glfw key S and key mods control. Okay, so if the window's active and they press Control S, which means the window's open, we should probably check if the window's focused here actually. Window is focused equals focused. Yeah, there we go. So if the window's focused and we press Control S, we'll save it. Otherwise, because normally we want to save the whole project. And this is interesting too. So we'll have to like bubble up this event or something, because the main project will also save when I press Control S, but in this case, we probably don't want it to. So we'll have to have like some sort of central key manager thing for hotkeys like this that basically says whether it's been handled or not. And then if it's been handled, we don't bubble up, you know, kind of thing. But for now, we'll just save both. Can't hurt. So if this is the case, we will say editor panel.visible character buffer number bytes. Okay, so we got that. We basically just want to fwrite to a file. Yeah, so let's go open file, close file. We'll add a save file. I guess we could make this. I'm going to keep it internal. I was going to say we could make it a public function, but nah. Okay, static void save file. I think I have a path. So let's do that. I might change that though, depending on what type it is. Let's also grab that comment. Okay, so basically want to do something similar to the open file, which is somewhere in here. It's in here. Okay, so we want to do something similar to this. Let's add it in here, I guess. Yeah, let's add it in here. So we'll have like a void save file. And that way this code is kind of all together, I guess. I don't know. And then we can get rid of that internal function and stuff because it won't be necessary. Okay, so then we will go into here. Instead of doing all this stuff, we already have our result because we know who we are. We have our file path. So this will be code editor panel data. It's const and it's a reference. So a reference to const code editor panel data panel. Okay. I've been trying to rewrite my const and everything in the order that makes sense. So I guess that's the way we would do it here. Okay, so panel.filepath.string.cstring. Yeah. Okay, so we got that. We want to write binary. We don't need to do any of this stuff. We don't need to do any of this stuff. We do need to close it though. We'll just say fwrite. Just fwrite. Yeah, okay. Buffer is gonna be our panel.visible character buffer UTF-8 string. Panel.visible character buffer.number of bytes. 1 FP, and then we close it. And that should be it. Okay, cool. So now inside of here, we will just do, instead of that save file thing that I had, we will just say panel editor dot panel dot save. No, we'll say code editor panel save. Okay. So we do that. We can get rid of this. And this. Okay, and so now when we save it, we'll also want to mark it as not saved. So I have to do that too. So we're not done yet, but we are very close. Last thing here is we'll say editor saved without edit equals false. And so now we go into here and we will say, oh, I don't have enter working yet. This is an edit that I have saved. Control S, we can see the little thing disappeared. If I exit, reopen it, the edit has saved. And now if we go ahead and just delete, control save, control S, I guess. Yep, looks like it's working. Awesome. Sam, I'm not sure, but I think if you save it with WB as binary, it will not be readable by system text editor. Would the system text editor be able to read UTF-8 by default, I wonder? Well, I guess we can just check that. So if I do a notepad and then control O, that is saved in here, math animations. And then this is test project, I think, scripts. Nope. Oh, well, text project scripts. Let's do any here. Yeah. Okay. Looks like it can still open it. Or are you talking about like command prompt or something? So it's correctly identifying the UTF-8 and stuff too, which is good. I mean, it's just ASCII, but yeah. So I think we're good here, but I'll keep that in mind. That's a good point to bring up just in case we do break some things with that. Okay, with all that done though, let's just check the list of tasks we have to do here. So I'm gonna edit this. This is gross GitHub. Why did you shrink it by like way too much? Thank you. Okay. So see the file name. Okay, so we have this done. We can select text blocks. We can edit where the text, we can almost do it. We're closer. We can do that. And Unicode is not supported, but I'm gonna take that out into its own file or own task. So we still need to get some edit stuff working. And then I'll probably create a new task here to support more key combos and everything. But for now, the only thing we need to add is up and down arrow keys, I think. And the enter key and the delete key. Yeah. So that we can navigate with the arrow keys. And then we can also delete. We can also add new lines. We'll do the new line one first because that should be pretty easy. So that's going to be in here. And now we're actually going to want to start adding some functions here. So we will add a function that's just like static void, and this is not a simple calculation function. Neither are these. Okay. Static void, add code point to buffer, code editor panel data panel, uint32 code point. Okay. I'm thinking real quickly. So yeah, this should be fine. We'll do it this way. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead all the way to the bottom of the file. Plop that in right there. Go back up, grab this stuff. That's backspace text insertion. I'm gonna grab all this stuff. Gonna go down here. Okay. We're going to say parser equals panel.parser. Or I guess it's the visible character buffer. Because clearly I had plans to add more to this, but just not now, I guess. Anyways, let's go back up. Okay, so if code points, we'll say add code point to buffer panel code point. Why are you not happy? That should be fine. UN32, UN32, panel, panel. Okay. Is this just IntelliSense being stupid? I can't tell. No, it doesn't look like it is. What is going on with you? Yeah, that's fine. It's also fine. But this, it says this isn't implemented. Did I like do a typo or something? What is going on there? I'm going to try and compile because I think this is fine. Oh, you know what it is. Wait, no. Unreferenced function with internal linkage has been removed. It should be referenced like right down here. Yeah, why is it not? What the heck? What is going on there? Okay. Okay. Oh, I have it outside the namespace. Man, I was like, what is going on there? I need to add comments, I guess, to tell me where the heck namespace begin and namespace end is. Okay, so there we go. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to do. We were almost there. So, okay, handle text insertion, handle new line insertion, if input key pressed, key enter, and then we'll just say hash if define win32 hash else. We'll just say add code point to buffer /r, and we'll change this to UN32 and /n. Otherwise, we just want the /n. Technically, I could just get rid of carriage returns and stuff, but since it's on Windows, I'll keep it that way just in case. Okay, so now if I hit enter, there we go. We get some new lines. If I tap too fast, it doesn't always get both taps. Okay, so that's another thing we'll have to do eventually. Because clearly, right, if I'm typing really fast, I can't tell if I just mess something up there or not. Okay, wait a second. Let's go. Let's change this first of all. Key pressed or repeated. Okay, key repeater down, and we want to do the same thing with the enter key too. That might have been the only problem I had there. Okay, wait, no, backspace is still weird. So enter key is fine, but if I'm hitting backspace multiple times, it doesn't figure it out for some reason. It's like skipping. Why? That is really weird. Okay. To do, not all backspaces are handled for some reason. That's weird. But the enter key is fine. Very strange. I'm probably going to leave it in just a second here because we've made some significant progress and I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, enter key, fine. Backspace, not so much. Oh, and we also have to change it so that enter key actually edits the file too. So we'll just do that and that. And now we've got some pretty good functionality here. What happens if, because I think this is one other thing I got to do. So what happens if I just do that, type? Yeah, we got to fix that. So if we have something selected and then I start typing, clearly I want to delete, but it's fine. We'll get around to it. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to leave it off here. Also, we got to fix that. We don't want space key to work unless we're actually looking at this. Space key is a hotkey to start playing this, and I was hitting space and it looked like it was playing this stuff. So we'll fix that. Thanks, guys, for watching, though. I'm going to leave off the stream here and make some more progress on this stuff at some other point, but we've got our editor working, which is nice. We'll add some more functionality to it and stuff, add syntax highlighting, add IntelliSense, all that stuff. One of the main reasons I'm doing this too, I think I mentioned this before, but one of the main reasons I'm adding it here is because Luau, which is the type system for Lua, it's got some okay syntax highlighting here and stuff. But one of the problems is, if I do something like this math anim require, and the way the scripting works inside of the engine is we actually go ahead and we create some metadata. So if I look at script, analyzer. Yeah. So basically when I'm analyzing a script, when I'm checking to see if it's all correct and stuff, I actually load in some types that are built into this binary itself. So this file is a type file that is used, but it's not actually on the file system. It's embedded in the binary. What that means is when I do require up here, we can't get IntelliSense on this. IntelliSense doesn't know what this is or where it is because it doesn't think this actually exists. So the benefit of having the text editor built into this is I have all that information up front. I can gather that data and then I can add IntelliSense. I can add syntax highlighting. I can add errors, all that good stuff. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to have it here. Another is I'll actually be able to put breakpoints in here and step through the code so that when you run a script, you can kind of like stop it, debug it, all that good stuff. We do have a console output and that kind of works too. So anyways, that is the reason I am going on this tangent because it will be very helpful to have it all integrated. Anyways, though, thanks everybody for watching and I'll see you in the next video.